Lunch hour and welcome to episode 4 of our Tech Tour Tuesdays. My name is Ray and I serve as a tech media director at FBC. Over the past 3 weeks, we've talked about the things we see in-house, which is visuals, the things we hear in-house, which is front of house audio, and the things that we hear online or online audio. If you missed one of those episodes, click the link in the description and that will get you all caught up. Today, we are going to take a look at the live video we see online, or our cameras. So let's take a look at our cameras. We have 5 cameras total. 2 of them are mounted on the balcony wall. 1 of the cameras is mounted on the side of the auditorium. And the other 2 cameras you cannot see, but they are typically mounted somewhere on the stage. So we have 5 cameras in total that we currently use during a Sunday service or special event. 3 cameras are PTZ and mounted throughout the auditorium as you saw. PTZ stands for pan, tilt, and zoom. That means that we can control the pan, tilt, and zoom of that camera remotely, typically via our hardware controller or video switcher, instead of being controlled directly by hand. We'll look at the switcher in just a moment. Our other 2 cameras are iPhones that are typically placed on the stage for various shots on stage. Now let's take a closer look at the switcher and how the cameras are connected to it. So here I am in the production booth sitting at the camera station, and beside me here you'll see our monitor, which is a touch screen, our control screen. We have our video switcher or our hardware controller, and that's about what makes up our camera station apart from our actual cameras themselves. Let's take a close look at the video switcher itself. So this is our video switcher. All of the video signals or feeds that come from our cameras are fed into this video switcher. Our 3 PTZ cameras are plugged into inputs 1 through 3. The SDI cable is plugged directly into that camera and runs all the way back directly to our video switcher. And are plugged in here, down here, 1, 2, 3 underneath the white cable. Those are the SDI cables. That white cable is actually an Ethernet cable that runs back to the camera, and that is what sends the commands of the controls, the buttons that we push and the things that we move to control that pan, tilt, zoom. That sends that message back to the camera to control it. The iPhone cameras are in inputs 4 and 5. That video goes from a Lightning to HDMI adapter, which then goes to an HDMI cable that carries it to an HDMI to an SDI adapter. An SDI cable carries it all the way back here to our video switcher. Now there is no control cable going out for our iPhones because those are not controlled for PTZ. We cannot control them via this hardware controller. And we use SDI cables because they can carry a video signal a long distance to get from our stage all the way off stage up into our conduit that runs back to our production booth in the balcony. We need about 200 feet of cable, and SDI can handle that perfectly. Now we're not going to get too in-depth into this video switcher. If you are interested in learning more about the video switcher, I encourage you to attend one of our trainings, which I'll mention at the end of the video. But for now, we're going to switch over to our control screen and take a look at that. Here we go. Here is our control screen. Now on the control screen, we can see 1, 2, 3 inputs. Here's another input that would be one of our iPhone cameras. And then we would actually have another input that would be another iPhone camera. The reason that we don't see the video sends from our iPhone cameras is because one of them is typically my personal cell phone that I use as a camera. And then the second one is the iPhone that I am using right now for this video that you are seeing. So that's why we don't see those 2 videos right now. But we do see our 3 PTZ cameras. On the top left over here is a preview screen. On the top left is a preview screen. That allows us to choose the different camera inputs, make any adjustments before we send that video to the program view, which is the top right. The program view is what is sent out of the video switcher to our live stream computer. On the bottom left of the screen, or the bottom of the screen, are 12 camera presets for each of the 3 PTZ cameras. Now remember, our iPhone cameras cannot do any presets because we cannot send any controls from our video switcher to our iPhones. iPhones can only be controlled directly with our hands. Our other 3 PTZ cameras can be controlled via our video switcher. So those presets are made during rehearsals so that we can quickly recall great video shots and camera shots during a service. On the bottom right are controls to transition the preview to program, where we can fade, we can cut, or we can wipe transition. And then the take button is what actually makes that transition happen. Once it goes from preview to program, that is what people will now see on their phone, computer, or TVs at home. The video runs from the video switcher to our live stream computer via SDI. That SDI cable actually goes into a USB interface that is connected to our live stream computer via USB 3.0 cable. So that it converts it from SDI to USB. On our live stream computer, we have installed appropriate drivers to receive the signal from that converter. And on the computer, we send that signal to OBS, which we know a little bit about from past episodes, but we will learn a whole lot more in next week's episode. I shared that we have 5 cameras that we use on a typical service or event, and that is true, but all of those 5 cameras are hardwired, meaning that there is a cable that runs from the camera to a video switcher. And all 5 of those cameras, that requires that they be fixed. It's very difficult to have a mobile camera that is connected to a cable that only causes problems. And so we wanted to create a way to do some different fun things for things like Academy Chapel, Academy programs, Vacation Bible School, and the miscellaneous other events and the programs and activities that happen within our auditorium. So we bought this cool little toy, either way here. This is called a gimbal. It is a phone camera stabilizer. We put an iPhone here, power it up, connect the gimbal to the iPhone via Bluetooth, which allows us to control the iPhone's camera with the controls that are on the gimbal. We send the video feed over NDI, which we talked about in the last couple of episodes. We send NDI over our computer network to send lyrics to live stream. Also to send our audio to our live stream, we use NDI. That NDI is also hardwired, so Ethernet cable from the computer to our router to the other computer that is also plugged up to the router. But remember, we don't want to be hardwired. And so we actually send this NDI over Wi-Fi so that it can be a completely mobile camera. That's a great, beautiful thing, because then we can move around anywhere we want to. But we cannot use it all the time because sending video over Wi-Fi has several disadvantages or problems that come along with it. Most notably, those problems are that it is unreliable. We can lose connection because hardwire, a lot harder to lose connection because it is what it is. It is a hard cable going directly to what we need it to go to. Wi-Fi is a little bit more unreliable. And secondly, it has noticeable latency, which is delay in the video. And so when we try to mix a video that has latency with our other cameras that don't have latency because they're hardwired, that's a problem. And we cannot do latency live in-house showing like camera feed on our main projector screen with latency because it is delayed. And so we can use it for different purposes, but it does have its own challenges. But I did want to share that we do have a fun mobile camera that we can use for special events. And if you happen to watch our Academy Easter program just a week and a half-ish ago, We actually used our mobile camera to use up-close shots as kiddos walked in to get on stage. Parents could, and grandparents, friends and family that could not be present or want to go back and watch it later could see an up-close front shot as their kiddos were walking in. And that was a lot of fun. Really neat thing to get to do and to see those kids' reactions of getting to be on camera. It's so much fun. So on a typical Sunday morning, our volunteer would show up, sit down, and we would have all of our cameras live, ready to go. We can make any adjustments that we would need to make. You would know how to work our equipment because you would be trained on it. They would have a spec sheet in front of them that shows them what is happening during today's service. We will have already talked about it in our production team meeting that we do before rehearsals. You will have set the rehearsal and have been able to work on it. And you'll be confident and ready to go to run cameras for our service. And as always, your trusty tech director, myself, will always be right beside you to help you answer any questions, make sure you're confident in what you're doing, and help you no matter what it is. So with all of that being said, all the goodies of all the camera system that we do, why we do it, we need you. We need you to serve on this station, on our production team. But don't worry, all the crazy acronyms, the cables, the buttons, it's already set up for you. If you think you may be interested in serving, please come to the training/informational meeting on April 18th at 2 p.m. in the auditorium right here in the production booth. You'll have an in-depth look at our 4 production booth stations and have the opportunity to ask questions. If you're not quite ready to serve hands-on, please serve through praying. Pray for our current volunteers that they would stay committed and continue to have a passion for what they're doing. Pray that new volunteers would step up, would learn these stations, and begin to own them as their own. You can serve through giving. Your giving allows us to fund the equipment that amplifies our impact in our community with the gospel of Jesus. To whatever extent you decide to serve, know that we are thankful and we love you and are so glad that you are choosing to serve the Lord and be obedient to what He has commanded us to do, and that is to make disciples of all nations. Share the good news of who Jesus is. That is what we are trying to do. Thank you for tuning in with me today. It's been so much fun. I hope you've learned something about our camera systems and what we get to do here on the production team. Please join me next Tuesday at 12 p.m. as we will take a look at how we mix all these things together, our visuals, our audio, and our cameras into one package deal and send it online for live streaming. We're going to focus on live streaming next week. So tune in next Tuesday, 12 p.m. as we focus on live stream. Again, thank you for joining in today. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them below or email ray@fbcsilsby.org. Thank you. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll see you next time.